welcome everyone to another episode of WP Product Talk. Katie, how are you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks. How are you?
Good. I'm excited to be here. And you look like you're in an interesting location. What's going on there?
I just went to the garden because I couldn't find a private place, share an office with my husband, and he was working, and my daughter's at home as well. So I thought I would just go outside, and then hopefully nobody will come.
That's a
And it's
gorgeous
just the right
garden.
weather at the moment in Mallorca. It's comfortable, but it's not crazy hot yet. So soon it will be too hot.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous garden. You must spend a lot of time out there.
Well, we just moved in February, and we're waiting for it to become swimming weather because we haven't even used the pool yet.
Nice. That's awesome. Cool. Well, we could talk about Mallorca a lot more, but we're probably going to talk about some other things instead. We are talking today about navigating the Gutenberg landscape, building a profitable WordPress theme business in a changing market. You picked this subject, right?
Yeah, well, it's a big topic, isn't it?
It is.
It's like a kind of existential change to the theme industry. And
Yeah.
because you and I are plugin people, I feel we've been a bit biased towards plugins when
Yes.
actually this is WP products talk, which
Yeah.
equally includes themes. And we should probably talk about other products at some point as well with the WordPress.
You're
But
right.
yeah, today it's the themes.
You're right. You're right for sure. I'm just feeling like I'm going into the conversation with not a whole lot of ammo this time.
I know what you mean, yeah. But we have an expert, don't we, to help us?
Exactly. Good thing we have a really good guest with us today. So, introducing our guest right now.
Hi, I'm Michelle Frechette, host of WP Coffee Talk, and I'm introducing today's WP Product Talk guest, Pavel Ciorici. Pavel is the founder of WPZoom, a WordPress theme shop that has amassed more than 100 free and premium WordPress themes, ranging from business to portfolio, blog, magazine, and WooCommerce, just to name a few. Their flagship theme is Inspiro, a theme that comes in many flavors and variants based on user needs and the complexity required. One of the things that I first loved about WordPress when I started 11 years ago is the versatility and flexibility that comes with a variety of themes that we have access to, and it's only gotten better ever since. And now here's Pavel. Enjoy the show.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome.
Thanks for a really nice presentation. Hi, Katie. Hi, Matt.
Hi, thanks for coming.
Thank you for
Yeah.
inviting me. It's really an honor to be
Absolutely.
at your podcast along with other WordPress creators.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for being here. And yeah, that was Michelle Frechette who introduced. So a lot of people know her in the WordPress space. It's been fun getting some other podcast folks to do our introductions for us recently. So
It's really a good idea. Yeah. You'll find enough creators, like video creators, for every new invite.
Exactly. If you're a video creator and you want to do an introduction, hit us up because I need more. So
Free promotion.
exactly. Nice. Well, Pavel, this subject I think is really important, as Katie was alluding to earlier. The whole concept of themes has really been evolving and changing a ton recently. And some people have even said, like, if full site editing really comes into flavor, like, what is the purpose and the point of a theme anymore at all? So there's a lot of big questions with how Gutenberg is going and where it's heading. Really quick, can you give us kind of like your perspective on why the subject of themes and WordPress in particular right now is so important? Like, where are you coming from?
Okay, yeah, I guess Katie is in a good position, as she mentioned, but they don't have to, I don't know, they don't have all these challenges as we do with being in a theme business, because we are used like every now and then something big comes to WordPress, like another revolution, another, I don't know, like a major update. And every time we are kind of scared, like, oh, what's going to happen to our business in the next 1 or 2 years? So we are always prepared, like, for the worst scenario. And yeah, of course, having a plugin business is probably a safer game. But we also try our best to diversify and to have a a piece of themes and plugins. So, but yeah, I mean, we are in business for a long time, so we've seen enough things. Like we are a small team, and for us, it's really easy to adapt and to adapt new changes in WordPress, like to implement new features, to update our products. So every time we were just happy to see something new, some new improvements to WordPress. I mean, even when I started, like in 2009, to make themes, there was no easy way to create your menu. Like the themes were just displaying automatically all your pages. So yeah, it was really challenging. And then new features like menu management arrived, and yeah, of course, it was important to quickly update your themes. And we had, I don't know, like at the moment maybe 40 50 themes in our collection. So it was kind of challenging to implement, to make all these updates. But yeah, we tried our best, like to keep the code I don't know, in a way like common in all products, so we can so it will be easier for us in the future to make quickly changes among all of them. So now we are witnessing something different with a full site editor. And again, I mean, I think it's also important for everyone involved in this industry, like to jump the train and to learn it from the beginning, because if they will wait longer, it will just be harder to catch up with all the changes. And I started, like, I don't know, maybe half a year ago to give more attention to block themes, to full site editor. I'm not talking about Gutenberg because that happened like a few years ago, so we are already experienced in that area. But now we are talking about full site editor, full site editing themes, and it's really something interesting. I feel, I don't know, like this sparkle comes back to WordPress, and I kind of am enthusiastic, like to try new things, to learn new things, to try new technologies. I mean, yeah, and both, I think, users and us developers, product owners can benefit. It's a win-win. Yeah, it's maybe easier for us to create themes, easier for users to create websites, have a lot of control over their websites. So my thoughts. So it's a really important period, and we shouldn't neglect it.
Yeah. What do you see right now, considering like the way that full site editing is evolving? What do you see as the role of themes in particular, in light of where everything is going with Gutenberg in particular, and also with full site editing? What's the role of the theme now? That, like you said, it used to be that it would design your page. Like you didn't have, often you didn't have a lot of choice or a lot of flexibility. Like you hit admin page, you type up your content, you hit publish, and you have that design, and that's it. And then theme authors started adding a lot more functionality into the pages in particular. But now it's kind of like, how much control does a theme really have at the end of the day, of the look and feel of the site, compared to where it was before?
I think now the themes are just an easy way to quickly create a specific type of website. I mean, it's not a secret that even until now, all themes, like most popular ones, like included dozens of demos, and these providers had to build another tools, like to make it to allow users to import quickly all these demos they see it on their website. But now with full site editor, I think yeah, the experience becomes more unified, like along all themes, and they still have a role. For example, I think this gives like opens the world for different talents. Like maybe someone is not good at developing complex themes, but they are good at designing layouts. So maybe for someone is easier to create a WordPress website without having coding knowledge. So they can easily build a theme. Like, I don't know, I think the themes will take control more of front end of design. So let the plugins do the complex stuff in the backend, because we know that so many features were bundled with multi-purpose themes, which were supposed to be in separate plugins. So, I mean, yeah, these were mistakes a lot of us in the past, and you learn by your mistake, and you still maybe years later you still fix them and try to take some specific features out from a theme, from a
Yeah.
theme, for example. Even in our case, like, I don't know, maybe custom post types which were registered many years, like 10 years ago in the theme,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
have to take it out in a plugin. So I think it's a good way to split what's plugin territory and what's related to design. So maybe it's going to be easier, like, to switch from one theme to another without losing too much from functionality.
Yeah.
It feels like it's kind of bringing it full circle, really, because originally a WordPress theme was just another word for a skin. It changed the design. And I remember watching Matt Mullenweg in the most recent State of the Word, where he was going through the demo and all these things you could do with themes. And he was like, look, I just built a theme. You don't need themes anymore. I'm rewording what he said, but that was the sort of essence. And it was certainly implied, maybe you don't need a theme. And I thought, no. Where's the design? Who's, you let the average website owner mess around with full site editing without that design and the branding and the look and feel. Then you've got nothing. You've just got a hash mixed together of components on the page. And so, and really, I think people will still be needing to research themes and finding that design that fits their desired brand, works with their logo, whatever. And then that gives them the starting point. And yeah, sure, WordPress will have within it the page builder, the full site editing that they can, the user can create their own layouts and things, but they still need the design, don't they? And all the components need to be styled in line with that design to create a really great looking website. And if you don't want what comes with the basic skins that come with the free themes, the default themes, you're still going to need to buy a theme, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, unless you are good at learning quickly all these options available, or you have a good eye for design, otherwise it might be much easier just to find the design you like and just install it. And now it's going to be easier for you, like, to make adjustments instead of installing page builders and additional plugins. Like, yeah, everything will be like one piece together to some
Yeah.
extent. So yeah.
Yeah. I
And there
think
have
there's
been builders, sorry,
you.
there's been builders available for years, like something like Generate Press or any of the big multi-purpose theme forest themes. If people had that eye for design, there have been no-code solutions to build very complex websites and layouts for years and years. All that's changed in that sense is that it's come into WordPress itself. But for those 99% of people that can't do that professionally, then they still need to find that theme. So,
Exactly.
but it
Yeah.
does require some pivoting, doesn't it?
Exactly. That, I mean, I think that's the irony of some of the way that this is evolving is WordPress used to have, at least in like in the core development area of WordPress, used to have a really opinionated view of decisions, not options. Of like, let's try to make decisions so that the user doesn't have so many options. But it feels like with full site editing and themes in general, and the way that that's going, it's like options with options and more options. So that if you wanted to build out a website just with full site editing, you have to be a designer in order to do that. Whereas the great thing about having a theme is just being able to just write and hit publish and be done because you're not a designer, and you don't want to have to make those decisions at all. Um, and I'm really curious as to where this all is going to head in the long run, because I really want to make sure that folks, users who aren't designers, still have that ability. Even with page builders, they continue to choose page builders often, and page builders often will lean towards like templates in one form or another, or like a whole page template, like, and then their website ends up just being a whole bunch of very disjointed variations of templates, instead of having a cohesive look and feel and experience. I don't know. Some of that is a bit concerning for me. I don't know. Pavel, does that make sense? Like, does that ring true with you and where you're thinking for your business?
So I see it like I see both the good parts and the bad parts. Like when I compare with classic themes, if we will call this way all themes. So,
Mhm.
for example, as a theme author, like who has some responsibilities, like to provide support. I will say that until now we struggled with specific issues with our customers, like when it comes to classic themes, like even for some parts were kind of like fixed, like you couldn't make easily changes to header to footer. We were sure that it will be hard for customers to break a website. Like they kind of were able to control the content, but it was harder for them to make mistakes. And yeah, but now with the new site editor, maybe it's just because of the transition phase and everyone is still learning how to use it. What I see is people have way too much control on global things on websites, and yeah, if they make a small change, I don't know if they can, if they know how to undo all these changes, and then it's too late, and then they have to, I don't know, reinstall everything or reset everything. So I think, yeah, maybe it's nice for them to have full more control, but on the other way, it's kind of riskier to give to someone maybe new to WordPress too much control. Yeah,
Mhm.
if they are okay breaking their websites, I don't know. But yeah, I,
Yeah.
I prefer like I don't know, maybe to lock some to lock in some sections, like to be harder to maybe
Mhm.
double confirmation, or I don't know what needs to be done in this direction
Yeah.
to avoid too often the same problem to happen too often.
Yeah.
Sounds like a product idea if that doesn't already exist. I don't know much about how the WordPress user roles fit with the different elements of Gutenberg and full site editing, and whether you can prevent certain roles from
Mhm.
changing blocks or
Probably, yeah.
something.
Probably you can lock different sections or yeah, group
Yeah.
blocks. But
Yes.
yeah, someone needs to set up everything for you first and to do all these measures. Yeah, otherwise it's too late. But yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think it's nicer when you see people using pre-made designs, like in the way they are presented on I don't know, on a demo. So they just add their pictures, text without trying to, I don't know, improvise when they don't really have a good taste, maybe. But yeah,
Yeah,
Mhm.
that gets the best results usually because a great designer created that demo, and
exactly. Yeah.
move away from it, it starts to fall apart. And yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Otherwise, it ends with video backgrounds on all pages, on all sections. So yeah, we need to control that. I guess. Yes.
Yeah. Pavel, tell me a little bit about like is there is there a lot of opportunity right now for a theme shop in WordPress, or is it going to be more you have to choose between plugins or page builders? Like you are right in between there. You're like
Well,
focusing on themes where we see so many of the theme shops becoming plugins essentially, like page like Divi and like Elementor. They're like, let's not worry about the theme as much. Let's make the page builder thing. You're right in between the middle there. Is there a lot of opportunity specifically for WordPress themes right now?
well, if I want to build something future-proof, I think everyone has now equal chances when it comes to when it comes to building maybe new themes, because there are not so many good full site editing themes. So basically, everyone can start from zero and compete at the same level, because all these big players, I don't know, there are some very popular themes they are kind of avoiding for now. Everything what everything about full site editor. So maybe it's a good opportunity to try to impress with some nice designs, like to fill some gaps maybe quickly, and I don't know, even uploading on WordPress.org in the repository a nice looking theme with a lot of features, templates could guarantee some some good results. But I don't know, maybe if you have a good idea also for a plugin, yeah, and you
Mhm.
can do something better. Or usually, for example, we also started with themes, but eventually we ended like building additional plugins, which were just not with an interest to make money, but just to extend our themes with additional features. And once you put all these plugins on WordPress.org, I mean, everyone can download them. So of course, this was a good way for us to gain new users, to get new feedback. And it was never intended like a backup, but now I look at our plugins from our collection, even the free ones, as a plan B, as a backup. I don't know, in case something goes not in the right direction with themes, we can always monetize them. I think if you can combine both of the worlds, it's nice. Maybe with plugins you can maybe monetize more. I don't know, like there are like way too many more money involved when it comes to especially e-commerce plugins. No better.
Well, let's jump into a little bit of our personal experiences with this subject. I can say from my perspective, my partner Devin and I, in the very beginning, before we even built Give, we did consider jumping into themes a little bit, because that was where he and I both had a lot of experience in terms of building out websites, with building our own custom themes according to a specific design and spec. And we were like, we know how to code these things. We know how to build them. We know how to design them. Let's start spinning out themes. And we quickly decided that it wasn't going to be what we wanted to do. We started going in that direction, and just felt like there's so much subjective feelings about the look and style of a site that we felt like we weren't going to be successful in that way. And so we didn't go down the way of themes, and instead we did products. And then our experience became, how can we make sure that our product works with all the themes? And how can we make sure that our plugin doesn't get broken because of themes? And that's what you were talking about earlier, about that line between plugin territory and theme territory. We were often most frustrated when a theme would load its own version of jQuery, for example. Like, that was always a big challenge. Or we had a big maps builder plugin for a long time, and there were several themes that loaded a Google API automatically on every page, and it would break our maps plugin every single time. And things. So themes for us started to become problematic in many ways.
That's a good name. Automatic problematic.
Yeah, exactly. But as of recent, my most recent experience in terms of the business of themes is with working a lot closer with Ben Rittner and Kathy Zant at Cadence WP, and seeing their approach, which was really interesting and a big eye opener for me, because of how I hadn't been in touch in the theme space in such a long time, and seeing how everything has evolved, and to the point where now Cadence is, like you said, they're kind of trying to do both. They're trying to be plugin and theme oriented, and their focus tends to be to try to have Cadence used to leverage Gutenberg as much as possible. They're also compatible with Elementor, of course. But the whole experience is all about how to make a website builder. It's not even about a theme, really. It's like trying to be a website builder as much as possible, which I think is a really interesting approach for sure. Because in many ways, that's the criticism of WordPress from the outside, is that when you get on WordPress, it's like, how do I build anything? It's all just too DIY, do it yourself. I'd much rather prefer to have it like Squarespace, where I just sign up and I pick the layout that I want and I run. And I think that that's a lot of what some folks want nowadays, is to have that more visual builder experience. And if a theme or a theme plugin combo can provide that, then I think it's a win. But their most recent struggle on the Cadence side is acknowledging that full site editing changes the way that you approach building out a page completely, and how can a theme tackle compatibility with full site editing as well. It's a problem that they're currently working to solve as well, like all the big theme shops are trying to solve. But it's a big, challenging one for sure. So that's a bit about me, about my experiences. And honestly, like um, if if somebody were to come and ask me if I would recommend starting a theme shop, I don't know if I would recommend it. I think it's super challenging.
Yeah, it's just about your preference.
Yeah, I think you have a lot of advantages because you've been there for a super long time already, and that's definitely an advantage for sure. Um, yeah, Katie, what about you? I'd love to hear a little bit about Barn2's experiments with themes or not themes.
When we were an agency, as you said, that's kind of where you get the experience, the themes as much as anything. And so in 2013, we spent most of the year building a theme, and we took ages on it. And while we were doing it, the market changed, and we built a fairly simple theme. So I'm not sure why it took a year, but there you go. It was alongside client work and things, but it was a fairly simple theme. And in 2012, you could do that. A theme was just a skin. It didn't have tons of functionality, a billion shortcodes or portfolios, whatever. So we submitted it to Theme Forest because I didn't have the confidence to market it independently. And it was rejected for being too basic and simple and all of that. And the world had moved on by then. Things like Avada and Enfold had hit the market and were taking over the world of themes at that time. And we realized we didn't want to compete with that. You need to be a much bigger company and have big resources to create a theme that big. And there were people then doing niche themes that were successful, but they were more independent and it just didn't feel the right direction for us. So we ended up with plugins. But I think that's a really good analogy of how the changes now. Theme companies have to be really quick to um, get the changes, make themselves compatible, and move with the times, just in the way that we didn't adjust our approach. So I think similar things are happening. The industry's changing, and to survive, you need to go with it. But my more recent experience is with the plugin side of integrating with these changes. And I find it a really big challenge because the market is so fragmented for things like page builders and themes. And I don't know what we should integrate with. Like we've stuck with shortcodes for a lot, for example, even though shortcodes are not user friendly unless you're confident with them, and lots of our users aren't. Do we do Divi blocks and Elementor blocks and Gutenberg blocks and every other kind of block? It's always been a dilemma. So we've been assessing the demand and doing integrations based on that demand as we get the evidence for it. But I'd love to provide like a block for everything, and it's not realistic. Just yesterday, I was analyzing the refunds for a particular plugin and discovered that in the last 3 months, we had refunded 4 customers on this plugin because it didn't work with the brick builder. I realize I'm talking about builders rather than themes, but they're quite closely connected, of course. And I'd never heard of the brick page builder until yesterday. And then I saw it on Twitter randomly. I was like, oh, is this a thing? And so we're going to implement with it. No one on my team's heard of it either. We're going to make it work. But it shows that a page builder can grow that rapidly. There's still some market for themes and page builders, even with the WordPress core changes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, gosh, I resonate with so much of that. I mean, the dance between plugins and themes and page builders, and just trying to help users to be able to get to success in one form or another between all of that it's so endemic to what WordPress actually is. It's endemic to its power and its strength and its flexibility, but also so much of the pain. So much of the pain is all wrapped up in all of that stuff at the same time. It's really, really a dynamic and challenging area for sure. Well, Pavel, tell us a little bit about your history and experience with WordPress theme business.
So my story is also, it's coming from themes, but it ended in a plugin. So talking about shortcodes, I can continue this discussion because when Gutenberg was introduced like 5 years or so ago, we had a few popular food blogging themes, and they had like shortcodes to add recipe cards. Like you would click in the old classic editor on some buttons to add quickly a list of ingredients, a list of directions, how to prepare a specific recipe. And when Gutenberg was introduced, many new WordPress users couldn't see these buttons because by default their editor was Gutenberg, but we were still using classic editor like during that month, year or so. And so we had to come up with a quick solution. And that's when we built quickly a simple recipe plugin, and with some simple Gutenberg blocks, like to offer options to add ingredients, directions, recipe details. And at that time, I think no one really, looked at that. It's like something serious. We were just experimenting, like to get familiar with how to code blocks, how to develop them, but eventually all these new WordPress users, which we were neglecting, they provide a lot of feedback. They asked for new features, sorry, for new blocks, new ideas, and in the end, I need some water. Sorry.
No worries.
In the end, this plugin even was featured by Matt Mullenweg at one of his keynotes, and this really gave us like a boost, like motivated us to give more importance to this plugin. And we launched a free version initially. Now it has around 10,000 installations. And later we made a premium version. It's called the Recipe Card Blocks Pro. And this started like something like a fun project. Now it's our most popular premium plugin. And yeah, I think it was a good start. Trying to fix a simple problem eventually resulted in something more complex, and now it's one of the most popular WordPress recipe plugins, and we are really proud of that. Because we were never like thinking, oh, we will build something for Gutenberg. I mean, we are in a different industry. We'll focus on themes because they work really well. But yeah, we try to satisfy our customers, and in the end, we have a new product.
Yeah, nice.
That fits really well with what we were discussing on last week's episode about coming up with ideas for new products, where Adi Spiak and I both agreed you don't need to come up with a new idea. You just need to listen, go with the flow, and implement feedback. And that often does lead to new product ideas. So that's a really good example of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice. I in the comments I added this little old callback. I forgot about this too. This was an old blog post I wrote back when I was freelancing. That says and this reminds me of how I used to write too. It's so long time ago. It's like 8 years old. This article, but the death of niche themes. I was calling for the death of niche themes because like at that time everything on ThemeForest was like. Car theme, and then everything was just stock images. They were really like the same theme over and over again. Car theme with like you have to install this car sells plugin, and you have to. It was always just stock imagery with certain recommended plugins, but it was basically the same theme over and over and over again. And I was like, these are not actually niche themes. These are just like standard layouts with stock photography. Why are we doing this? I don't understand. But of course, niche themes have not gone away. I mean, nonprofit themes are a big thing that people who use Give still really need all the time. But it's things have changed a bit. I do see a ton more actual functionality and actual focus. Like podcasting themes are actually a big deal. Anything that's compatible with being able to show media super well or have special kinds of layouts with galleries and blocks and whatnot. I think it's also really interesting. Let's wrap up though with our best advice to new folks. So let's imagine we're at a WordCamp. and somebody's like, I want to get into WordPress themes. I'm really good at building WordPress themes, and I like full site editing, and I like Gutenberg, and I'm gonna build the next big theme shop. What's your best advice for me, Pavel? What's your best advice for our WordCamp friend?
I think they should learn full site editing themes like right away, because now it's the right moment. I think even if you're against niche themes, I think there are enough niches which lack any nice themes. I mean, there are like around 200 themes in total, block themes at the moment in the repository. So imagine how many options you have. Like pick a niche, pick another, and you can design. Especially if you're good at designing, you can do something really nice. And one thing about block themes that I like is that you are no longer required to, I don't know, to take care of different things like page speed optimization. Like all these themes are so simple, like they use different technologies, like they are much faster, so you don't have to think on what you bundle in them. um, I mean, you don't have to build a framework behind your theme to take care of different features or optimization or customization options. Everything now, yeah, it just you put everything in the theme zone file, and the site editor does the rest. Also, one thing that I like about Gutenberg, besides themes, are the single block plugins. I don't know if you tested them before, but I really like this part. For example, in our free block themes, we are using simple one block plugins that can be installed right away from the editor. So you don't have to go to the plugins page to install it manually. You just click a button and it's installed instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we also try to build a few similar plugins. Yeah, but I think it will be harder to monetize them. But they come nice as a complementary product to themes. So I don't know. Another thing maybe I could suggest is for someone looking to get into WordPress is to be consistent about their product, like to not abandon it after a year or two. I mean, this was something common many years ago when we used to sell lifetime licenses, and because we were not getting new users or motivated enough, we were just abandoning products, even though they were used by many customers who paid just once. So yeah, it wasn't a good position. So, but on the other way, everything now we see in WordPress industry, everyone uses the recurring revenue model, business model. So you can be sure that if you will push constantly new updates, new features, uh, even in long term, you'll have to benefit from this. This is as Michelle mentioned in my presentation about our most popular theme, which is called Inspiro. I mean, I don't know why, but like 8 years or so ago, we it was a video theme, like for portfolio websites with video integration, and we really received a lot of feedback and very difficult requests from our users, like to implement specific videos in specific areas, like in the ground. And it was very difficult at that time. Maybe internet wasn't so fast, so it was easy to put large videos loading automatically. But I don't know, we tried to find ways to do it. So I think this played a big role for us, because there weren't so many themes, or maybe none at all, like with really specific features. So yeah, this kind of helped us, and we were constantly pushing new updates, new features. We were announcing them everywhere possible. So for users, it's important to see that the product is alive, and you keep someone is behind it working really hard, and it pays enough. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's my advice.
Nice. That's great advice. Katie, how about you?
Yeah, I'd say if you're thinking of getting into themes now, then work with Gutenberg and full site editing and not against them. In particular, look for gaps and opportunities and needs that they don't fill, because there are plenty, particularly if you want to add something more niche or more complex than what they're designed to do, then there are always going to be opportunities. There's also the design side of things. There will always be a need for good, unique designs that meet different needs. So I think there are opportunities there, and you need to look at what your product, what your theme can add on top of what's available in WordPress itself, instead of trying to fight with it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really good advice for sure. Me personally, ironically, I would say to focus on some sort of niche in one form or another. And honestly, I think the biggest one to focus on is e-commerce. Like if you're going to go out and start building themes, I would focus on trying to be a theme for WooCommerce in particular. I just think that that's where the most opportunity is. It's kind of the easiest, biggest grab that you can go for. If you just try to go and be like, we're a theme, like use us, I don't know that you get a lot of traction that way. But if you're like, we are a great theme for WooCommerce, it's a good way to turn heads and get people to pay attention. And there's a built-in audience there automatically. I think the other thing I would really emphasize strongly is the user experience on the admin side. I think not enough themes actually cater to the admin experience. They really try to make everything look really great on the front end, but how people actually interact with your theme, even if it's like via the customizer, which is still available for a lot of folks, or if it's in full site editing screen, or if it's a settings screen, or if it's in the page editor or the post editor, all of that is fresh area for your theme to be able to shine and make the website building experience nicer, and let your users get to success quicker. That's kind of my two big things. Like really focus on probably e-commerce as your niche, and really focus on user experience as much as you can. Nice. Well, this was a really interesting conversation, Pavel. I'm really glad you were here to share your expertise with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you also for inviting me.
Yeah. Katie, are we lined up for next week already?
We are. Yep. Next week, the topic is customer onboarding, how to turn first-time buyers into loyal customers, which is super important because once you get the sale, you need to keep it. And we've got a great guest again, Mark Zara from Spotlight Instagram feeds, WP RSS Aggravator, and also the WP Mayor blogs and news site. So he's going to come and talk to us about that. Matt, I know you're particularly strong in this area as well with the onboarding side of things at Give. So it should be a really good one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it for sure. Thanks, everybody. Do us a favor and share the video around. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It helps us for sure. And we'll see everybody next week on WP Product Talk. Thanks a bunch.
Bye-bye.